we live in is changing, and it's not for the better. I look around at people I've known my entire life, and it's like a haze of darkness is hovering, threatening to crush us. Now is not the time to let that darkness back us into a corner. Now is the time to be relentless. Relentless after the one, the only one, who can help us defeat the darkness, and that's God. In Isaiah 41:10 it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." We need to hold on to that verse when we are tempted by the devil, when it feels like we're losing our hope and faith, or like our world is coming crumbling down. Jesus is always by our side. Whenever we fall, he's going to be right there to pick us right back up and help us keep on fighting. And that is the very definition of the word relentless. Unyielding, unable to be moved or shaken, determined, fierce, unstoppable. Think about that for a minute. What comes to mind? For me, these words bring to mind the image of a courageous warrior. Whenever you feel weak or feel like the enemy is closing in on you, remember that with God, we are that courageous, unstoppable warrior. God's gifts and his call are irrevocable. Romans 11:29. And he has called each and every one of us to go out and spread the gospel. We do this by using the talents that God gave us. Personally, I'm guilty of sitting back and waiting for change, or not doing something to help that change happen. It took a huge stumbling block in my walk with God to snap me out of it and turn me into a relentless warrior for Christ. Just as God is relentless when it comes to saving lost souls, we must be relentless for his cause. We must fight for what we believe in. For example, recently, my school made the news. My principal was getting a lot of negative publicity for some things she said during a school meeting. She stood up for what's right. She stood up for what she believed in, and now she doesn't have a job. No matter what may happen, you have to stand up for what's right, because in the end, God's going to reward you. Everyone wants to be a hero. Everyone wants to be remembered for someone who started a wave of change for the better. This is your time to be that catalyst that starts the revolution of the people of Christ. I pray every night for the people of God, for their lives to be drastically changed, for them to be relentless, and for them to change the lives of the people around them. Matthew 28:19-20 says, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." This instruction has become a spiritual tug-of-war between Satan's temptation and the people of God. Satan will try his best to discourage you and make you give up on God's call for you. That's when you pray and ask God for guidance and faith, and you have to find someone to keep you accountable. This life is not a journey we are meant to walk alone. A war is not fought or won by one person standing alone. A war is won by an army of relentless warriors fighting for what they believe in. Now's the time for the people of Christ to join the cause, be relentless after the one, and lead unbelievers to Christ. In Mark 11:22-24, Jesus says, "Have faith in God. I tell you the truth, if anyone says to this mountain, 'Go and throw yourself into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will happen, it will be done for him. Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." We will prevail, because we have something the enemy doesn't. It's faith in God.